Hey, we're back at her again. Got the Goldwing. Took her for the maiden voyage, the first test run. Painted the tank white because I had it in primer and I really liked the way the bright splash contrasted the rest of the bike. I don't have the rear fender on yet, but I do have a fender cut and sitting there waiting to go on. Today I just basically tore it back down, did a bunch of touch-up painting and put her back together. The wiring is just got to get basically buttoned up for the final time. Got the new battery mounted right there like I had said I was going to, and it works out just fine. Tucked the starter solenoid right down there. Oh, my shifter mechanism right here works awesome, I will say. I have the shifter hooked to this rod. It's kind of hard to see because I painted everything black, but this right here, this chain link, which is actually my linkage, runs down to the stock kick shift, and no problems. First gear, you've got forward is down to first, and then second, third, fourth, fifth. It's good to go. I have a hole there because I'm going to put a neutral light on the shifter. On my Honda emblem, it's just kind of sitting there. Still got to wire the headlight in, throw some mirrors on it, and install my choke lever because it's really cold-blooded. It always has been. But it works. I mean, the key is on the left-hand side because it was getting extremely crowded between the shifter and the fuel lines and wiring. There's no room for the key on that side, but key is on the left side, which is kind of strange. Takes some getting used to. But it fires right up. It runs good. Got a pretty good cackle to it, but that's fine. That'll never hurt anybody. I'm going to do a side-mounted license plate, curved style right there with a brake light. Have not decided as to whether or not I'm going to use tail lights or go old school and go hand signals. I would like to go hand signals because it's a lot less wiring, but it limits my night driving, so I might have to do some tail lights. And I like the fact that I've gone with no gauges. I don't know if I ever made a video about that, but yeah. Through doing some bench testing with my LCD screen, I burnt it out because it's supposed to be limited down to 5.5 volts or some shit like that. And I ran straight 12 volts to it and burnt it right up. So that thing kind of went out the window. And then I just went all out and did absolutely no gauges, nothing. Other than possibly this neutral light, there is not a single gauge. No fuel gauge. I left this open. Underneath here, there's still that cavity. There's my gauge cluster. I'm going to use it as a glove box, put my fuse block in there, and insurance and registration, that kind of stuff. But if I want to down the road, I can always just hole saw and put one of them universal round gauges that has everything, gear indicator, all the wiring is still there for me to use it. But I'm going to try old school with no gauge, no speedo, no tack, no oil, fuel, temp, nothing. I mean, I'll still have the electric fan hooked up to the thermostat and make sure that works and kicks on and runs as it's supposed to, but other than that, no anything. The brakes work really good. Even with just having this single caliper, I know I have way too long of a brake line. It's the stock brake line. I just wanted to test drive it around the block. But this brake line, I'm just going to measure it and order a stainless steel braided line. Just the one, shouldn't be too big of a deal. But the design concept has worked flawlessly so far. This bike is so well balanced. You can drive this thing at a crawl and it doesn't even try to tip. And that's on a rough lawn on grass. On asphalt, you can kick it in gear and let it walk away from you. It's so well balanced with that low center of gravity and nothing being up top. It's super, super easy to ride. The seat Works like a charm, no problems. I mean, it's honestly, I've never ridden a hardtail before, but I don't even hardly notice the difference. It feels like a Springer rear end. But yeah, anybody has a comment or wants me to throw up a video doing a burnout, because this thing finally lost enough weight on the ass end, lost probably a couple 100 pounds. I mean, really, by the time everything got stripped off, it can finally do a real burnout. Really hard to shift through the gears though, because your right hand is on the throttle, not down there. And if you, I mean, maybe you could reach over with the left hand and just slam the gears, but I know these transmissions do not like slamming gears. But it does cool burnouts either way. There's no weight back there. It'll spin it from second. Oh, you can tell. I was doing it a little bit earlier right there. But yeah, this is what we got so far. It's going to be on the road here in a couple of weeks, and once I get it fully finished up and all the little details and stuff done, I'll do some driving shots of it, hopefully, and see what you guys think of her. Thanks.